For the next 5 minutes, I'm going to talk about CI, Comprehensible Input, which was the topic of the International Forum on Language Teaching this summer, iFLT. If you're unsure of how to do CI or what to do with it in your classroom, this video is for you. We start first with second language acquisition, SLA, Dr. Stephen Krashen's description of how we acquire languages. As Krashen and many others have repeatedly told us, input is the name of the game. So what exactly is input? Input is spoken or written language that we receive. In order to facilitate acquisition, input must be comprehensible, compelling, and relevant. Let's take a look at all of those individually. Comprehensible means that the input is at or slightly above the recipient's proficiency level. I+1 is how Dr. Krashen represents it. Quality input must also be level appropriate, and students must engage and interact with it. Simply listening to a telenovela while you do homework or having a Chinese language podcast playing while doing other things just won't cut it. The student in that picture was definitely not engaging with the input. Compelling means that the input must capture the recipient's attention in an irresistible way. It is often said that the best input is when the recipient is so engaged that they forget that they're not hearing their native language. Finally, it must also be relevant. Input serves no communicative purpose if it is not directly relevant to the recipient of the message. It involves their desires and the things that they're interested in. Now that you know what to provide your second language students, what about the how? Next, we're going to turn our attention to the definition of communication. Communication is the expression, interpretation, and negotiation of meaning in a given context. For educators, this means that whatever we say or write in class for students to read in a foreign language is communication. Okay, the expression can be related to the presentational mode of our national ACTFL standards. Communication always involves some sort of meaning that is being conveyed to an audience or another person. Interpretation relates to the interpretive mode in the ACTFL standards. The recipient must want to understand your message or it is not communication. Generally, we craft our communications so that they are accurately interpreted. Negotiation, what I feel relates to the interpersonal mode of communication, involves the natural give and take between two parties to express and interpret meaning. This may involve asking for clarification, displaying body language, or providing supporting information. Communication itself, what you have to do with your students in the classroom, must serve one of two purposes: psychosocial or cognitive informational. Psychosocial refers to niceties in relationship building communications, such as, how was your trip last week? Most of the time, we are more interested in quote unquote greasing the wheels of the conversation than the actual answer. The cognitive informational purpose is to find out real, substantive information from another person, such as what time does the next train arrive, and this person in this video is from Omaha. Where is that? Also, please remember that language, in the words of Dr. Bill Van Patten, is much too abstract to teach and learn explicitly. The more you try to force acquisition, the less effective it will be. In a CI classroom, the student's job is to comprehend the messages directed at them. You assist this process by keeping those messages comprehensible, compelling, and relevant, and only communicating for psychosocial or cognitive informational purposes. Now, how do you do all this is up to you. But first, I would suggest forming a sincere, caring relationship with your students, setting boundaries and enforcing your expectations. As the song goes, if you succeed in doing this, tell me how. In the end, the only advice that I have for you is this: put down your standards. Don't overly concern yourself with, am I doing this right? Just do it. Provide CI in whatever way works for you. Just have meaningful, sincere interaction with your students and have fun with it. In the end, learning is not the accumulation of facts. Learning is transformational to the lives of others. So get out there and make it happen. Thank you.